It's 9.
All right, it's time. So let me share my screen. A very warm welcome to all of you. Radhe Radhe. Good morning, good evening to each one of you. Welcome back to our weekly Bhagavad Gita sessions. And let's get started with our topic for today by invoking the blessings of God and Guru. So I'll share my screen and then we will get started. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. All right, Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening to all of you. Let's get started. I picked up 3.24. I'll recite it and then you're welcome to follow along. We'll pick up few hands. Utsideyurme loka na kuryam karma chedham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyami ma prajaha. Okay, let's take a few hands now.
As always, our first one, Samji. Radhe Radhe.
Sam, go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
उत्सीदेयुरिमे लोका न कुर्यां कर्म चेदहं शङ्करस्य च कर्तास्याम् उपहन्यामि मा प्रजा. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Okay.
SSPG. Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Nitin ji, Sanya Madam ji. Utsideyurime loka na kuryam karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahavyami ma praja.
Very nice, SSPG. Thank you.
Difficult, sir.
Difficult one, huh? Yeah, it's a bit of a tongue twister. Okay, let's pick up the remaining hands.
Yeah, Shyamji. Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Shyamji.
Utsideyurime loka na kurya karma chedham sankarasya cha kartasyam upanyami ma prajaha. Radhe Radhe.
Very nice. Shyamji, you make difficult sound easy as well now. Wonderful. Okay, let's take the remaining hands.
I'll first take Rahulji because he has his video on, and I will encourage others also to turn their video on if they want
Give
them to
preference
be
to
picked up.
whoever is turning their videos on.
Yes, Rahulji. Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
उत्सीदेयुरिमे लोका न कुर्याम कर्म चेदहं शङ्करस्य च कर्तास्याम् उपहन्यामि मा प्रजा. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you, Rahul. Very nice. Okay, let's take the remaining hands.
Sumeshji. Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe Nitin ji, Radhe Radhe Sandhya ji. Utsideyurime lokan kuryam karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyami ma prajaha. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Poonamji. Radhe Radhe. Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe everyone.
Radhe Radhe Poonamji.
उत्सीदेयो लोकानां कुर्ये कर्म चेदहम् शङ्करस्य च कर्तास्याम् उपहन्यम् इमाः प्रजन्ः.
Thank you, Poonamji, and thank you for turning your video on. All right, last few hands. Let's quickly take them and we will get started. How much time do we have? Okay, I think we can cover a few more hands.
But yeah, I encourage you to turn your videos on. But for now,
When you do that, somehow it becomes a relatively easier to recite. Okay, that's what I've experienced. Okay, please do.
Yes, Riya ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Riya ji.
Utsideyur ime lokana kuryam karma chedaham sankarasya chakartasyam upahanyam ima prajaha.
Riya ji, very nice. Okay, we have 4 more hands so we can pick up on.
Ragi ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Thank you, Radhe Radhe. Utsideyurime loka na kuryam karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartashyam uphaneyami ma prajaha. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Pragi ji. Okay, last 3.
Pallavi ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. उत्सीदेयुरमे लोका न कुर्या कर्म चेदहम् शङ्करस्य च कर्तास्याम् उपन्यमामि मा प्रजः.
Pallavi ji, Radhe Radhe. Okay.
Shri Ramya ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Shri Ramya.
उत्सिदेयुर्मे लोकाना कुर्यं कर्म चेदहं संकर्षया च कर्तास्यम् उपाहन्यम् इमा प्रजा. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, thank you, Shri Ramya. Okay, we're getting more hands now, so let's freeze it to the last 3 now.
Okay, Meena ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Meena ji.
Sorry for joining late, but stuck with other session. Yeah. Please continue.
Okay,
Yeah. Utsideyurime loka na kuryam karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyam imah prajaha.
Very nice, Meena ji. Thank you, Radhe Radhe. Okay, last 2 hands.
Aparna ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. उत्सीदेयुरिमे लोका न कुर्यां कर्म चेदहम् शङ्करस्य च कर्तास्याम् उपहन्यामि मा प्रजाः.
Very nice, Aparna ji. Thank you. Last but not the least, Sandhya, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Utsideyurime loka na kuryam karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyami maha prajaha.
Very nice. Thank you. So let's get started. In this, Lord Krishna is saying, see, he's talking about prescribed actions. That's what we were talking about. And now in this shloka, he says, even, if I cease to perform prescribed actions, all these worlds would perish. I would be responsible for the pandemonium that would prevail and would thereby destroy the peace of the human race. So previously he said, even though I have nothing to accomplish, still I perform actions and duties. Here, he further on goes on to say that if I don't do that, what will happen? See, when somebody says even I, then it lends more impact to that argument, right? If you come across somebody, somebody who's an ascetic and he's talking about God and spirituality, you will say, yeah, that's all they do. But when somebody who has some technical background, who's well educated, right? Somebody who has studied from IIT or an IIM, he says, you know what? This is what the truth is. It makes sense. You will listen to that. So God is also explaining, even though I don't have to do anything, but I still perform actions. Okay? Because people would follow suit the action of personalities. They will say God has told about all these things, but when he himself comes, he doesn't do anything. It would not set a good precedent. Secondly, he's lending more argument to this particular thing by saying that if he doesn't perform actions, these three worlds, they will perish and the pandemonium will break. We'll see how. So let's get started. This is what we are going to talk about today. It's a valid question, right? When God, see, one of the things that we look at is it okay to imitate God? We see people give a lot of arguments. Even God did that. God does this, that. So all that stuff we'll talk about. So we'll look at his leelas in perspective and try to remove some of our blind spots around it. And what is a good mindset to approach it, especially when something does not make sense. So let's move on. So let's start. I came across this beautiful quotation. It says that you may convert each building in the land into a charitable organization or a hospital, but the misery of man will continue unabated until the character changes spiritually. Even Bible says we don't live by bread alone. Now, that means, see, if you think deeply about this quotation from Swami Vivekananda, he's basically telling us you need to go beyond sattva. See, if you come across this quotation, you will just think, okay, something makes sense. But now that you have read Swamiji's commentary, you should be able to go a little deeper and say it actually maps to the concept that we have been talking about in Bhagavad Gita, that even if you do sattva, all these things are good. Getting associated with charity, doing philanthropy, building a hospital, all that is fine. But the real misery is ignorance. Until you start bringing about in the change in the heart and character, nothing changes. No matter what you do, however many rules you make, the change from within is the hardest one to bring about. And the only technology that is available is spiritual technology. So becoming good is good, but not good enough. You need to go beyond that. And the character transformation or the internal change can only be brought about by spiritual principles when we start aligning to that. Otherwise, we really can't bring about that change, right? Einstein had famously said that we had harnessed a technology to break down a plutonium, but we still do not have the technology to remove the evil from human heart. Right? That is why our scriptures also say Dvai Vidya. There are two sciences, bona fide sciences. One is the material science, and the other one is the spiritual science. Both are needed. Material science is needed to make our life comfortable. It gives us the tools, techniques, how to keep our gross body healthy and how to, make your life comfortable so that you can do sadhana and practice spirituality. And the spiritual science tackles the broader questions, how to tackle anger, greed, remove the greed from our heart, how to become selfless, more giving, less taking. All those tools and techniques are given in our Brahma Vidya or spiritual science. And Bhagavad Gita is not only Brahma Vidya, but also Yoga Shastra. That means it's not only gives us the distillation or the cream of our scriptures, but also gives us the practical tools on how to imbibe it in our day-to-day life to realize benefits out of it and keep progressing. All right, so let's move on. So let's look at this. Now, little Johnny, let's bring him here, okay? So Shyamji, this little Johnny is nothing, no one but, right, who it is. Let's look at it now. He's looking at his father and his father is writing down something. He's sitting on a desk and writing down something and then simply taking that, crumbling it and throwing it in a dustbin. Then again, he thinks something and then takes it, throws it in a dustbin. And he continues to do that act. Okay. So little Johnny has seen him long enough, hard enough. And apparently he has got a very logical thinking, rational brain. Okay, so he has figured out what his father is doing. So this is what the little Johnny does as well. Okay, he said, all right, writing something and throwing it in a paper bin. Okay, that's not hard job to do. Okay, I know what my dad does. And he tears off the pages of his books and starts throwing them in the bin. Okay, until he gets a nice scolding and slapping from his mother. And then he says, what's the big deal? I mean, dad does the same. So you see the fallacy in simply copying father. The father might have been doing some creative juices are flowing and he's trying to write down or pen down something. It's not coming out, and then he's doing a redraft and stuff like that. He's working on something, right? Apparently, the throwing away of paper is also part of that process. However, if you simply copy that act without understanding the deeper part of picture around it, you have missed the whole thing, right? There's a beautiful story Swamiji tells about Einstein also. He used to go and give speeches, and his driver used to accompany him as well. And he had attended around 50 plus seminars with him, where Einstein would talk about general theory of relativity and specific theory of special theory of relativity and all that stuff, until it became like a back of his hand. So his driver said, what's the big deal? I can do the same. So Einstein said, all right, game on. He also played along. He said, next time I will become your driver. You go, you dress up like me and deliver the lecture. And sure enough, that happened. Einstein became his driver, and this guy went and delivered a flawless speech on that entire theory that you're talking about. It's a fairly complex theory, and the driver is reciting it, right? But now the fun begins. Somebody asks him a follow-up question. Okay, driver. Now the driver is zapped. He doesn't understand. He has simply copied the external part of it, right? But he had a brain wave, okay, with God's grace or whatever. So he said, this is such a basic question, even my driver can answer it. And then Einstein had to rescue him. So the point here is, when we start imitating big people, it's usually not advisable. Okay, it takes a lot to get to that stage for them to be there, because they're practically realized. If you simply copy the semantic aspect of it, you will lose out big time. That is essentially the message around it. Let's look at it through some more analogies. So again, little Johnny is being very curious. He's looking at his grandmother who's knitting something. You see this knitting job? You would have seen it when you were young. Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense at all, right? What is going on here? He's thinking, what's going on here? However, the thing here is that it is unfolding. Something is unfolding. And that something will become apparent. Then this whole thing will come up, right? Grandma, it seems like a lot of knitting without any purpose. And she's saying, what does she keep doing whenever she gets a chance? But there is a method to this madness. What is going on here? There's a pattern that will form, the border will come out, and nicely everything will fall into place. Similarly, a lot of things that are happening here in this world may not make sense to us. And in every era, people say Ghor Kali Yuga has come. Okay, you hear that Ghor Kali Yuga has come. When people get upset with anybody, this is the first thing that will come. Oh, Ghor Kali Yuga has come. But this Ghor Kali Yuga has been there since last 100 years. In 60s also, people say 40 also. This earth has survived Great Depression eras, where economic condition and much worse conditions the humanity has been subjected to. And still, the Ghor Kali Yuga has not come. Okay, because Kali Yuga is just a toddler, not even a toddler yet. It has 432,000 years to go, and we are barely past 2,000 years. So no Ghor Kali Yuga. So at a macro level, everything is under God's control. We may think, something big is happening and we have to take on responsibility. Otherwise, the world will collapse. Religion will collapse, people will collapse, structure will collapse. It's our duty. Fine, we have to do that. Of course, we have to pull in our weight. But when we start taking it too seriously in our head, losing the big picture, the macro level, it's God's creation, right? He's not going to let something decimate, which is good for the benefit of the society itself in long run. Everything is perfectly under his control. Like the famous Taoist saying, each snowflake falls at the appropriate place. Okay. Similarly, every event in this world is happening for a reason. At a macro level, everything is under God's control. We just need to focus on our prescribed duties without hyping it up something else in our heads, which may not serve the purpose of the creation. On the contrary, it may derail our spiritual journey as well. So now let's look at it. The same thing goes with God's leelas also. Okay, he's knitting a sweater. You will not understand it. When God comes, he comes with the purpose of doing too many things in one shot. Like, for example, when we go to a market, if we have to get 10 things, it's not like first we'll go get milk, then we'll go get bread, then we'll go get, jam, then we will go get the clothes that we have given to the tailor. We do it all in one shot. So similarly, when God comes, he does so many things in one shot. And at the same time, some of it, he may finish that unfinished business in next birth. He knows his plan. When we try to intellectualize it, thinking, trying to making logical sense of some of the stuff that doesn't appeal to us, then it's not a what you call that, very beneficial exercise, because we can't understand God. For us to understand God, we have to get into God's mind. And for us to get into God's mind, the only way that is possible is to complete our God realization. There will be stuff which will not make sense. With God's grace, it may start making sense in due course of time. But until then, we got to be patient about it, right? But when we intellectualize God's leelas and start questioning it with our limited intellect, it is very, very counterproductive for us, right? We see with so many avatars, God does so many things. And we start questioning it, putting a question mark. No, this does not appeal to my intellect. So there is some problem with it. That is a mindset we need to refrain from. So let's move on and talk about his leelas here. Now, Lord Krishna said, I have nothing to attain in this world because I am supreme, Lord, right? Okay, this argument, basically, this statement is not born out of ego. Some people say, what kind of a God is saying that I have nothing to do? Of course, he's stating the fact, right? For our benefit, so that we understand. So he said, I have nothing to do. And of course, he has nothing to do. And yet, when he appears on this earth as a human being, when he takes an avatar, he conducted himself in all ways and manners which are appropriate for his position as a king, son, friend, etc. He did that so that he could be a role model around it. Okay. Now, we may say certain things that, okay, is it befitting of a son? Like Bharat did, for example. Bharat is also, anyway, Bharat, I'm not going to get into that, but there might be things which you say, okay, why would a son do like that? Or as a husband, he would do like that, or as a king, he would do like that. Now, who's questioning it? Us? Who has defined the very definition of dharma? God. He's the author of dharma. So other than them, nobody understands the complete depth of a dharma in a particular situation. We cannot say our understanding of that situation, of that era, in accordance with what would be a better or a higher dharma, is better than what God did at that time, right? So sometimes people say, okay, why did he kill Bali while hiding behind, or why did he send Mother Sita through the test of fire and stuff like that? So we have to basically not logically interpret it, but pray to God that, okay, make it, appeal to our intellect, because it is very limited at that point. Okay. So the same scriptures say, if we believe in these leelas of God and question it, that means we believe in Ramayana. And if we believe in Ramayana, we cannot selectively believe in it. We have to believe the fact that Ramayana states God, Ram was God, right? And Ramayana also states that God is perfect in his leelas, pastimes, and everything that he does. So that means we are selectively picking up stuff and negating the other part. So in these kind of things, we simply suspend that part and proceed with what's making sense and pray to God that, please make it evident to me in due course of time. It does happen. With God and Guru's grace, all the things that start falling in place, where you are able to understand, appreciate their leela, and not subjecting it to our materially conditioned mind's arguments. Okay. So you see the street, familiar, right? I mean, I've been to some of these streets in Delhi and other places. It's like you're walking and somebody will come and hit you and scold you back that, why did you come in the way of my scooter or car? You could have gone in somebody else's car. So, did you find my car only to get hit today? And then while that is happening, the rickshawala has picked up an argument with you because a bicycle has struck him and he thinks you have stolen some of his apples. And then in the meantime, you will think some bird has dropped on your head while you see there's a sponge ball. Somebody was playing a cricket, you got hit with that, and that ball was soaked in the local drainage. So it seemed like that. So right, this kind of things, have you seen that? It can happen. So this is called sheer pandemonium. Okay. So this world, if God has not performed his duties and people would go around without any traffic lights, so sheer pandemonium like this, as you see in this picture, would have broken out. Okay. So that is why God has created prescribed duties, put some traffic lights for humans, not to have a free hit for everything, so that, this pandemonium is managed. But still we end up creating that. But even if you create a pandemonium at a micro level, macro level, God still controls it. Okay, he's not going to let this earth gets destroyed just because of few insane, crazy people. There is a law of karma, of course, but at a macro level, he controls it completely. I'll tell you an interesting incident that keep talking about. People were worried that I'll get into that later. So there was a major oil slick of BP, British Petroleum, few years back. Okay, British Petroleum, we know, right? Slick is something when they do that offshore exploring and they get the oil, when the oil leakage happens, it can have an impact on the aquatic life. So there was a major slick that happened. British Petroleum, I don't know how many tons of liters of oil got dumped into the ocean. And it was so chaotic at that time, they said that the entire aquatic life will be wiped off. And because of that, there will be an ecological imbalance that will disrupt that entire region and possibly some effect on the global climate as well. That is how hazardous or dangerous it was. And scientists said that it will take 20, 30, 40 years for the system, the universal, what you call that, ecological forces to clean up this mess. Maybe hundreds of years. That is how bad it was. And what happens? Guess what? Within a matter of few months, there was some bacteria that started appearing in the ocean, and it ate away all that additional slick that was there. And the balance was restored within a matter of few years. And after that, those bacteria were nowhere to be seen. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that at a macro level, God is controlling that. It's not like one incident is going to wipe off humanity. People were worried that, if somebody like Trump comes to power and he has access to the nuclear codes, he may push the world to an ice age. It's not going to happen. Or the rocket man in Korea is going to do something which is going to destroy the world. Or what's going on in Middle East is going to proliferate to the rest of the world and we will be pushed towards ice age. All these things, these theories will keep coming, but let's understand at a macro level, everything is under control. If Kali Yuga is going to stay for 4,32,000, it will. So God is perfectly controlling it. And at the same time, what is required till that point, it will be maintained. So we can put in our efforts. Of course, we have to do that, right, as part of our responsibilities, duties. But then the burden of maintaining, sustaining this earth is on the strong shoulders of God, not so much on us, while we are performing our duties to the best of our abilities, while continuing to invest on ourselves, because the most pleasing thing to God would be when we progress spiritually. Nothing is more pleasing to Krishna and God than we progressing spiritually and taking a step closer to him. The rest all is peripherals, basically. Now, God says that, if he had acted otherwise, other human beings would also begin to imitate him and thinking that they must copy the conduct of the worthy son of the righteous Krishna Vasudeva. And it would have been a very serious offense. And then Lord Krishna would have set a very wrong precedent. So that's why he's explaining that if he did not fulfill his occupational duties, it would cause pandemonium in society. We are anyway looking for reasons, excuses to copy God and use it as an escapist route for things that we want to do regardless. Now let's look at some more examples. Chaos and order. Okay, so now Lord Krishna is persuading Arjun to perform his Vedic duties by giving the example of himself. So he's saying no refraining from duties. And Arjun was also world famous for his archery, right? He was undefeated in the battle. And he was the brother of Yudhishthir. And if he had failed to fulfill his duty, then other people would have quoted Arjun in the generations to come and said, Arjun ran away from the field, so I can also do the same. Okay, that is why Lord Krishna is beckoning him. He's giving him all kind of arguments why he should not go away from the field, run away from the field. And this would bring destruction to the world. Balance would be shaken up, And for the benefit of human race and welfare of the world, Arjun is advised not to neglect performing his prescribed Vedic activities, him being a Kshatriya, and as a Kshatriya, he has to fight for the basically righteous, it would for the sake of righteousness, what is right and what is wrong at that point. So Lord Krishna is telling him basically, see, if you look at the sequence of event, Arjun is confused. He's not knowing what is the right thing to do in this kind of a situation, right? Is it okay to take the blood of your relatives on your hand just because you want a kingdom? And then Lord Krishna starts explaining him, first of all, you are a soul, you are not going anywhere. Secondly, now he's telling him from an angle of his prescribed duties, his Vedic dharma, being a Kshatriya, to do his occupational duty. Because if you'll run away, it will lead to infamy and hellish abodes. You ran away from that. And then he says, now that you are performing your duties, do it in the spirit of sacrifice as a pleasure to God. So he's explaining him step by step. Right? And then finally, he's going to tell him that surrender is the ultimate thing. That's something we will keep on exploring as we go along. But Lord Krishna is explaining it very, very systematically. And when he's telling him about duties, he's also presenting the argument that, see, not argument, but further, what you call that, he's corroborating it by saying that even when I take avatar, I also perform my duties. It's not that I'm not performing it. So you cannot, look for an excuse to run away from your duties. Now let's look at other part of it, this imitation part of it. One of the arguments that people usually present, as you would come across, should we imitate or simply follow instructions? Okay, now people give this argument that the Krishna used to follow girls, so I do that. Why would you single me out, right? There are songs in Bollywood around that as well. And then Lord Shiv, we had Shivratri, by the way. Hope you enjoyed that live telecast. We had a great time celebrating Shivratri. Lord Shiva, under the pretext of Lord Shiva, they say that it's okay to consume bhang. Right? A lot of people, they do that. Or ganja, they are smoking ganja. Lord Shiva used to do that. He will do that as well. The question to be understood is, do you have the ability to lift Govardhan? Right? Or do you have the ability to give instructions to Arjun like Lord Krishna gave in Mahabharata? Or do you have the ability to drink poison like Lord Shiva did at the time of Samudra Manthan? If you can do that, can you copy? If not, then how can you selectively copy God? But when you try to copy God under the pretext of this, basically, it will bring about your downfall. Not only that, it is called spiritual transgression also. It is called Namaparad, basically, when you try to present such arguments to suit your convenience. The right mindset is actually not to copy God, but to follow his instructions. What are the teachings in Bhagavad Gita? What are the teachings in Bhagavatam? What are the teachings in Ramayana? And just focus on those teachings as opposed to intellectualizing God and picking up stuff to suit our convenience around it. Because when we do that, not only we are committing a spiritual transgression, but also it will result in a downfall, which will take a long time to climb up, especially if we use God's name to indulge in activities to suit our senses. So that is the key concept around this. Any questions so far before I go any further around it?
Sam,
So Srivad Bhagavatam says, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe
Radhe Sam.
Nitin ji. I think nothing. Why? I mean, after coming to spiritual path, also why people still carry pride, even when they know that they have done mistakes.
Is this question coming in because Sam wants to conquer pride, or Sam is thinking about somebody else and thinking how to fix that person's pride?
Both.
So I will tell this question answer if you take an oath with me right now.
God.
Are you willing to do that? Say after getting the answer to my question, I'm going to break all the records in bhakti. Can you do that affirmation with me?
Oh, no.
Okay. I bother. So the point here is we need to focus on our journey without. See, pride is the thing that even in scriptures are say it's the first thing to come, aham, and last thing to leave us. Okay, so when we have so much of When you have exam tomorrow, would you worry about somebody else's homework or your own homework?
My own.
And if you keep worrying about somebody else's homework, what will Chitraguptji tell you? Wow, what a job, well done. Here's you get a gold medal because you spent your entire life worrying about somebody else's homework, and let me give you a lot of credit and bonus for that. Will it happen? I don't think so. Let's focus on things that truly help us, because we have so much work to do on ourselves. Why to even worry about, right? So, but if pride has been something that has been a challenge for you, then of course it is something we need to bring in by humble sentiments, right? A firefly thinks it has a lot of light in it until it sees sun. In front of sun, it dwarfs, its light fades into insignificance. Similarly, Swamiji gives an example. If you are looking from far, the mountain seems parallel to you, but as you start going closer and closer, you know how insignificant you are in front of that mountain, right? Now, if you ask an ignorant person how to paint an aeroplane, it said keep taking it up, 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 up until it is, it becomes this much, and then you can just wipe it like this. So these are all ignorance things. When you truly look at things the way they are, humility is a natural consequence of it, right? So bring in those sentiments, humility would automatically come. And if you have pride, there cannot be any worse thing we can do to ourselves than having pride. That takes us further and further away from God, because we are further away from truth. Pride is what? False ego. That means you are going further away from truth. And what is truth? Truth is God. That means you are going further away from God. So that person or whoever, whether it's you or somebody else who has pride, right? That is going further away from God. Secondly, if we think somebody has pride, that means we are looking at their dosh. That means that dosh is in you as well. That means you are dirtying your mind, and that is your pride talking when you are seeing pride in somebody else. You see what I'm saying? Your pride talking, because you think you are humble. That's why you think the other one is having pride. So the buck stops at us to just focus on ourselves. When we see pride in somebody, it's our pride talking, basically. Whenever we see any fault, it's our pride talking, because you are subconsciously telling yourself, I'm better than this person. That means you've gotten pride. That dosh has come in you already. So our focus should be our own, as opposed to worrying about somebody else, because everybody is on their own trajectory with regards to their spirituality. Now you're going to break all the records in bhakti, because that's a promise I have taken, even though you have not given. Okay, so game on. Okay. Any other questions around this concept? Okay, let me finish off then. So Bhagavatam, what does Bhagavatam say? We picked up something from Bhagavatam also. Bhagavatam affirms. What does it say? One should simply follow the instructions of the Lord and his empowered servants. Their instructions are all good for us, and any intelligent person will perform them as instructed. That is intelligent person. Okay. However, one should guard against trying to imitate their actions. One should not try to drink the ocean of poison in the imitation of Lord Shiva. Anyway, people don't go with the poison, they go with the intoxicants just to suit their argument. But the instruction is very clear in our scriptures. Do not try to imitate them. And even, I will take it further, do not even do kintu parantu. You know what? Krishna was great, but once but you will put. Okay. However, but this doesn't make sense. No, but however, you take the entire thing. God is God, right? The very definition of God is that every action that they do, they are perfect in their leelas and pastimes. And only God knows the perfect definition of that. Who are we to judge God that whether he's performing things in accordance with dharma or not? He's the traffic policeman who's defining the code of conduct on the road. Okay, and we cannot challenge your way of doing it is not appropriate because it doesn't suit to me, because what the books that I have read explain dharma to me in a different way. We can't challenge that. Yes, we can challenge our own intellect that, okay, right now my heart is not as devotional and pure to understand some of the deeper nuances of dharma. When God will grace me, it will make sense. And until then, I will patiently wait for it. Till that point, I will focus on his instructions, which have made sense, and deepen my devotion, love, and faith in God. That is how a devotee would progress. And these are the 10 things I would work on myself. And the moment we start focusing on others, that means it's our pride has started talking. That means we have taken an oath to dirty ourselves further. Okay, so we should refrain from looking at others. See, when I used to listen to lectures initially, this used to be my mindset. Whenever I'm listening, I'm putting some person in my mind. Oh, this is applicable to this person. This is applicable. It took me a while to change that mindset, because this is typically our mindset. Oh, this is applicable to this. Nothing to ourselves. Lecture is for others. But the day we start thinking, okay, this problem is in me, this is in me, this is in me, then the real progress will start happening. Otherwise, it'll, same input, same output. Okay, so I think that's all we had. Any questions around what we have spoken about? I know I spoke a lot. So now I'll open it up for, by the way, tomorrow we'll see a Swamiji's lecture, beautiful lecture. And we will have Shri Ramya, who is our Ananya team captain. That Ananya team is going to make their presentation, the first one of the Seva teams. Okay, so I'm looking forward to it. No pressure, team leads. It's going to be fun, out and out fun. Okay, all the presentations. All right, any questions on what we discussed today? I know it was a pretty interesting topic, where we talk about God and his leelas.
Maybe I can, so you mentioned at some point that we should not be imitating, but we should be performing our prescribed duties. And I think with respect to also macro and micro level, so as we know that at macro level, protecting the larger level dharma, paradharma is in God's hand. But at micro level, what are our prescribed duties in that context? That I see around me becomes fuzzy. So can you throw some more light on that?
See, one of it is dictated by the situation that we are in, right? We were not born in a particular country, religion, or a family by coincidence. Right? There's a reason for that. And some of the things that have shaped our life, which is called destiny, is also not happened by chance. So typically the situation, circumstances that we are in, and the duties, basically prescribed duties, will stem out of that. Beyond that, if there are some gray areas, we always need to seek guidance from God and Guru. Basically, God, Krishna, is not going to come to us in front of us to clarify like it did for Arjun. And that is where we need to seek guidance from somebody who is realized, and they can guide us if those lines start becoming fuzzy for us. Typically, intuitively, as you progress spiritually, you'll start getting a sense of your duties. And the highest duty we have already known, right? Because of the benefit of the knowledge that we are getting from Swamiji and Maharajji, that paradharma always takes precedence, the dharma of the soul. Bodily dharma, whenever there's a conflict between these two dharma, paradharma takes precedence, right? Because that is truly what you're going to take along with you, and everything else can wait. However, if our aparadharma is at the forefront of our life right now, we can take guidance from our Guru in that case, if there are fuzzy lines there, right? But then now that we are in the path of spirituality and the path of devotion, we have already started mixing paradharma. First of all, most of the people, they spend their life in a paradharma only. That also they cannot perfect it without the guidance of Guru. But now that we've started mixing paradharma into it, why not keep on increasing its proportion without unnecessarily, adding more aparadharma, self-created aparadharma on ourselves? That will keep it simple. But whenever in doubt, I think we should seek guidance from God and Guru. And the second simple test is like Parikshit. Parikshit, what happened? He was given 7 days, right? Swamiji in Bhagavatam, he was given 7 days, and he went to, he basically said, in these 7 days, I just need the best message. The scriptures are so vast. I just need to know the thing so that I can utilize it to the best of my ability and get closer to God realization. Okay, that's where he spent his 7 days, because he knew he's going to get bitten by a snake. Now, we all have 7 days in a week, right? And we don't know which one is going to be our last. So that's one of the tests, you can take for yourself. If you come to know that, you're going to evaporate from this earth, or, you're going to close your pastimes, whatever you may want to call it, in a week or 3 days or in 1 day, what are the activities will cut out from your life? Right? Would you still care what's going on in, where that Ukraine crisis, or would you still care that if IPL team is going to win tomorrow or not? Or would you still care what is the next good morning or good afternoon I can send to my family? You just imagine what are the things you would prioritize for yourself, and that is when that will actually give us a good idea on what are the true things which are important for us, and what is the noise we have added thinking, oh man, we have time. Think of it, if it's worth to be our last day, doctor tells us or somebody tells us. Interesting thing is God doesn't tell us, right? Otherwise, a lot of people will take a lot of signatures from their elders and otherwise as well, right? Nobody knows actually. You just gone. What happened recently? So many people, they are just gone. Next day, Shane won, he was so fit and all that stuff gone. But if we were to know, for whatever reason, there are so many things will cut out from our life. That itself will tell us is how important it is for us. Is it truly important, or it's something we are adding to our life? And so Maharaji has simplified it so much for us, right? Swamiji keeps on saying in our scriptures, there are so many do's and don'ts, so many karam kands, so many aparadharma related things. But if you distill it down, it actually boils down to two things. Do things which take you closer to God or help you develop love for God, and reject things without fear which do not take you closer to God. If you simply follow these two things, that will simplify your life as well. Right? But then if you still feel we are in a situation where things are taking our mind space and we need to outgrow, we need to take guidance from Swamiji at that point. He's accessible to us. SMX is a great platform, I would say. Ask him question, he'll give you a very prescriptive nugget around it, and then make it a something set in stone. After that, no kintu parantu. Yes,
Absolutely.
Rahul.
So much. And should I take a moment to also make announcements right now or after
Sure.
Rahul?
Sure.
Okay, I will make announcements quickly. I have posted the links. So first of all, tomorrow itself, the JK Yog Holy Sadhana Shivir, which is the last Shivir of India, is starting in Banara, Odisha. Swamiji is going to give lectures on Bhakt Charit. So this is the highest learning about the devotees, and this is just getting into total devotional bliss. So, and all of us can utilize this opportunity of attending it online. So I would request all of you to consider that. I have shared the link earlier. I will reshare it. So it's a 4-day long Shivir, 22nd to 26th of February. So yeah, I mean, if you can go there in person, nothing like that. But if not, please utilize this opportunity virtually.
Yes, please do sign up. It's, I think, at a very nominal price.
Very nominal, I guess.
And
Yeah.
you will relish the bliss. I mean, if you have noise cancellation speakers or even otherwise, just put it and enjoy the Bhakti Ras and lectures. Okay, it's a great way to immerse in devotion for the next few, week or so. I don't know what are the timings. Maybe it'll overlap with our session a bit, I guess. Are they going to overlap 30 minutes?
We do not have the schedule yet, but we will know.
We'll probably proceed with our sessions unless there's a full overlap. Because a lot of people, they look forward to these sessions. So I will continue. We'll take a hit on those 30 minutes because the recordings are there. So as best as you can. So, but just wanted to let you know the sessions will continue.
And just to reiterate, like this Shivir will consist of parikrama, yoga sessions, lectures by Swamiji, sadhana time. It will be like very, very engaging and totally blissful. So I would strongly encourage everybody to take advantage. And okay, other than that, Holy celebrations in Dallas are also coming up soon. And I have shared again the link for that. There are two things. One, of course, you should come and participate, enjoy. We have grand festivities, and also we need volunteers to help. So people who are local in Dallas, please consider joining us in Seva for the holy celebrations. So I think that's the main two announcements. I will reshare the links, and we can take Rahulji's hand now.
Sure, Rahul.
Radhe Radhe Rahulji, please go ahead.
And some of our class participants are already there in the Banara ashram. So we should also take a pledge to join online from here.
Yeah, and you guys can keep sharing the pictures and all the inspiration. Keep it coming, and let's join online as best as we can. I would encourage everybody to take this benefit.
So there is an anonymous question in the chat.
Yes, and
How
sorry,
do we
you
know?
can't travel. Okay, your fate is sealed. You can do online only. Let's talk about that. Yes, on what is the question?
So there is an anonymous question. How do we know that our pride is reducing or increasing?
Let's give an anonymous answer. I'll try. See, the most beautiful definition of pride Swamiji told was that, okay, one of course is it is, it is something that takes you further away from God. Second is your tendency to find faults in others would start reducing, because pride is something which is telling you to see faults in others. When do you see faults in others? When you think you are better than them. And why do you think you're better than them? Because that's your false pride talking. But the irony is then when you see faults in others, that there is a sure shot proof that fault is in you as well. Because a kid will not know somebody is a thief, because kid is innocent. Only a person who knows 400 BC and all that stuff will know, okay, something is not happening. So that person has that fault. Then only they are able to do that. So one of the things of knowing pride is that you don't, one thing is that your tendency to see faults in others will reduce. And secondly, when somebody praises you, you don't, what do you call that? Start taking a ride or feeling good and high with that. And when somebody criticizes it, you don't become terribly upset. You're able to bring in this knowledge. You know what? I'm still Mayadheen. I may not be, exactly how he said, but I definitely am. If somebody says stupid, are you perfectly knowledgeable? No, right? Only God and Guru or God realized saints are perfectly knowledgeable. If somebody says stupid, what's the big deal? You are stupid only. But our argument in our mind is, okay, I'm at least better than you. And that is where pride is talking. So next time somebody criticizes you, it does not set you up on fire. That is again a test of not having, your reduction in pride. So these are some of the parameters I think we can judge ourselves on, where we are not getting terribly upset on being criticized. We are not feeling too high when somebody is praising you. And then we don't have a tendency to find faults in others. Okay.
Also, there was an announcement about, I thought we could share the Seva leaderboard.
Sure, let's do that. We have a little bit of time.
Sometime.
So we could do that, and then we
Yeah.
can do our devotional segment as well. Samji had said we have to finish it up, our philosophical discussion sharp at 10. So we will do that. And then we move on to our next segment. Shiramya, you had a question before that?
Yes, one of our team leads, Radhe Radhe.
I wanted to tell that I did not update the scoreboard for last 5 to 6 days. So is it okay if you share it in the morning
Okay,
so that
that's
I
a-
update it?
You can catch up.
It's okay. I mean, it just we are just sharing it. It's okay. I mean, you can we will keep sharing the scoreboard, leaderboard. So it's fine. Like you haven't updated it for now, but you can update it afterwards.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
No worries.
Go ahead, Sandhya, all yours.
I just I'll share it with
If you want to share your experience on Seva or otherwise, feel free to. Love to hear from you. If you have started building a bit of a routine around it, or it's like one of the things, whatever. I mean, it's something you do, and you can welcome to share your experience around it, especially if you're watching some videos and something is hitting you. See, when you start doing Seva, there's a strong possibility then God will start arranging for videos that you need in life. Okay, you will see the video and you'll say, oh my God, this is exactly what I needed. So for you to experience that, you have to make Seva, kind of a routine and a commitment. And then you'll see a lot of things will start coming your way, even though they are routed via Seva, they are truly designed to help you.
So this is how our scoreboard leaderboard looks right now. I mean, Ananya team hasn't updated. That's what Ramya ji just informed. But this is just the latest score I have put.
Okay, that's good going. I think a lot of people just looking at the points, that means everybody's putting in their work. So that is good, fantastic to know. And Vinamra team will continue to be Vinamra, I believe, even though they are leading the board. So that's good.
That was anyway the topic of discussion right now, humility and pride. So interesting.
Humility and pride, yeah.
And next, as Nitinji already announced, we have tomorrow our first presentation, group presentation by Ananya team. So yeah, look forward to it. I think that is it.
Presentation, yeah, tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll have a powerful lecture from Swamiji as well. So
And I think, yeah, as part of this journey, people who have joined these Seva teams and also the team leaders, if they have any experience to share, please feel free to.
Or any questions?
Like Shyamji was saying, we will be at the last. They are right now at the second position.
Good going, Shyamji. You get a lot of credit for being the team captain for that. Yes, you wanted to share something, Shyamji and Sri Ramya? I see a few hands.
Yeah, Shyamji. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Sandhya, Nitin bhai. Yeah, as concerning about the team leads, we are there on the second, but it's a bit tough to encourage people around you. As we all say, leader is not one who tells how to do it, but one who shows how to lead, how to do things himself. So I'm trying to do things myself, whereas other my team members can be inspired. Instead of telling them ki ye karo, do this, do that, just be
sure
example to the people around you. And maybe one day, one fine thing, they get inspired and they follow the footsteps of Hari Guru. I do not know, but as we all know, I'm sure some of the members of our team will also fall out, because it might look like it's burdensome for some of us, because doing our daily chores and living our lives, and then also taking a time to do seva for ourselves or our groups or Hari or Guru is how we all think, how we all feel, how we all conceive things. I just want to say this: let's conceive, let's perceive, let's just see that we are doing for ourselves, our benefit. And as long as we see that this for our benefit, I guess we can be there. Let's not look like a burden for us.
Yeah, Shyamji, I'm sure your motivational speech will do wonders from here. That's what we need to continue doing. Okay, so that is where the Seva tests start. Okay, now you have to basically motivate your team, and then if they're not getting motivated, you have to be tolerant and then continue to motivate and keep doing your best. So that's how it goes.
Yes, thank you, Shyamji. Next we have Urvi.
Yes,
Radhe
Urvi?
Radhe Radhe. I just wanted to share that because I'm of the team leads, so I've started developing this sense of integrity that I have to do it. If I don't do it, then I can tell anyone that these are the tasks that we have to accomplish. And also I've realized anyways I used to waste so much time throughout the day, so now at least I'm able to utilize it in a better manner. And yes, I'm actually enjoying it. And at last, Seva is we have to do. So I'm developing that through the opportunity which I've got. So I'm really enjoying it. And all my team members, they're just wonderful, and I'm loving it.
Good, Urvi. Good, Shyamji. I think it's going to be a journey for all of us in a lot of ways. We can reflect on what we learned and all that stuff. So let it grow on yourself, okay? And I would say let's not let go of this opportunity here also by thinking small about points and competition and all that stuff. Let's think big around, possibilities, avenues, and the sanskars it will build for us in long run, right? That is the real gain, not the points that we are going to get right now. I would look at it that way. Great.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that.
There is a comment from Madhu Chandaji with respect to what you said earlier. So true, Nitinji. The videos keep coming up as per one's heart's wishes, many times surprising me. I find it miraculous. It's like the universe conspires.
Exactly. Trust. You have to trust what God and Guru says, right? And I have experienced it. That is why I'm sharing it with you as well. It happens. It happens. If we have to test the presence of God and Guru, we have to enter into Seva with full faith, and they will make you realize it every second day. They will give you the nuggets, the videos will come, the information will come, even the things you will start doing. You would have never imagined yourself in that role few years back. It's like, I know I'm not doing it. It's God and Guru that I realize it every day when I do this Seva. And you might be thinking, how is it happening? Trust me, I realize it every day. It's not me. Sometimes some of the words, when I'm uploading the videos, I'm looking at, hey, really, was it me who was speaking it? So I know God and Guru are giving you what you need so that, that service seva gets done properly. But we have to take a little bit of, and the better we start putting in effort, the more, the harder we work, the luckier we get, and more miracles we start seeing, the miracles, so to say, kind of a deal, right? And Krishna will make you realize that karte ho tum kanhaiya, mera naam ho raha hai. You will realize that every second that it's not me who's doing it. Okay, the words are not mine, the thoughts were not mine. All the thing, he just takes control and orchestrates for you so nicely. Get into Seva, reap the benefits, don't let go of this opportunity. All right, let's hear from other leaders as well. I see Monica ji, and then again we'll get back to Sam ji and Shriramya ji.
Yeah, so beautiful. And Lakshmi ji also says big thanks to Urvi for encouraging her along this path. Okay, we have other hands. Okay, maybe I'll first take Sam ji.
Monica ji.
Oh, okay.
No, actually, yeah, I am not.
You didn't get an opportunity, and then we can come to Sam ji and Shriramya ji.
Okay, okay. Yeah, Monica ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe everyone. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank everyone in my team. I think Ankur ji just left, I think a few minutes back, but then he's been updating points and we have been very vinamra to not really update our points so much. But then I think I was about to reiterate whatever Nitin just said.
Ankur ji has turned on his camera right now for you.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. I see Swarna ji also on video nowadays. So right. So this is actually making a difference. And then we are also enjoying this a lot. And I also wanted to share the Seva experience we had on Shivratri, right? All thanks to Payal ji, who actually came up with the idea. I think she was the one, Nitin ji, right? Pani Puri Seva, yes. And then many of us were fasting. I was also fasting, and I could not really imagine, and I know that I cannot do this if not Seva. That's standing for like almost 9 to 10 hours without taking even a washroom break, water break or whatever, and then continuously, having that smile on the face and talking to people and, selling golgappas on just outside temple. It was sheer bliss, and it was really awesome. So I think karte hai sab kanhaiya naam hamara ho jata hai.
Very true. I must add that is one of the most exciting, fulfilling sevas we have done. So just to tell everybody else, basically Payal and all volunteer team, they came up with an idea. Monica ji was there as well. Sandhya helped out as well. They came up with an idea of selling pani puris for the fundraiser, right? A lot of us have signed up as Swamiji's angels. So they said, let's sell pani puris on Shivratri. And we came up with this idea, and they prepared all the masala and everything like they do in India, right? And then it was cold here. So we were very skeptical, who will come and eat golgappas on a colder evening? And then we somehow set the stall. You believe it or not, end to end, the first day, we sold about 70-75 pani puri plates, right? And then the second day when we did it close to 300 that day. And they were working tirelessly, even though they were fasting, with a smile on their face, and it was a riot. It was so yummy, first of all. But secondly, they were continuously one after another, and we did close to, I would imagine, probably around $3,000 within a weekend. You can't imagine, okay? That is the spirit of Seva, where God and Guru just make it happen. Right? I have experienced it in so many Sevas where you go, you say what will happen, and then by the time it gets done, it's like amazing. So we're thinking about, putting this stall maybe for other festivals as well, because it was a runaway hit. Not only that, a lot of people came to them, right? Monica ji, catering order. Okay.
Yes.
They started getting catering orders also. So it was a runaway hit. It was a very nice experience. And I was their marketing agent. I don't know how many people I got or shooed away, but it worked out well, net overall experience. Very nice.
That's what
I got many people, Nitin ji.
There were two things which were like the best part of this Seva. One was the smiles and the bhav of the people, like all of them who were serving it. And our marketing person, Nitin ji. Like everybody was like, if he's doing the marketing the way he's doing, we will definitely have Pani Puri. We cannot go without it.
No, it was very nice. They put in a lot of hard work, and it was pretty amazing Seva. And when you go for Seva, even without food, somehow you get the energy. I've experienced it.
Yes.
And it's all Nishkam Seva that you are doing. See, somebody is fasting, and Pani puri is front of them and still they are selling it without eating it. So it's amazing. The
Commendable.
satisfaction that you get, it can only be experienced when you do that seva, right? So very nice. Thank you for bringing that out, Monica. I wanted to talk about that as well.
And actually, it's an excellent idea for all those who are involved in fundraiser and are Swamiji's angels. You can consider doing this. I mean, at least for us, I think it looks like something we are going to take up even more, right?
Yeah. Sell pani puri, sell anything. I mean, I've sold books, pani puris, pamphlets, all that stuff. It just works. We have to take that first thing. Inertia will tell, no, it will not happen. Your ego will, your pride will come. What will people think about me? But you do it and then you see how liberating it is. It's a very nice experience. All right, let's hear the other two hands and then we move to our devotional segment. We have one person who has committed to sing and there might be a little couple more. So let's quickly move to that segment. Shirame, you wanted to add something and then Samji.
Shri Ramya ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. I wanted to say that I don't know how much I have been inspiring my team members, but they have been, I'm audible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that they have inspired me much more. And huge shout out to all my team members, Sajji and IMITATE, Arunji, Jignasa. I hope I'm not, I know I missed out the name, sorry. So one mention I wanted to say is when the presentation was up and that day I didn't attend the class, I didn't know that I had a presentation to make. And in a couple of days, Rajita came back and she told, I sent you an email to check and these are the things that you have to do. And all the points of the presentation were ready. And when I tried to say Jignasa, she added one more slide and they have been doing so much seva that I'm getting inspired by them. And kudos to all of you. And let's continue to do our seva. That's it. Thank you.
Very nice, Shirame. Thanks for sharing that. And your boss did not hear you, okay? You're not loud enough. So I think you made your point and we look forward to your presentation tomorrow. Great. Yes, Sam.
Yes, Samji, please go ahead.
This point system, actually, I'm not updating any points, but in our team, Ankurji is updating, I think, but we are not providing full information also. At least I'm not providing full information like commenting on in community portal, reaching out for fundraising, collecting funds, all those. I'm not at all updating.
I think we'll settle into a rhythm, so don't worry about that. As we are settling into a rhythm of doing seva, that is of paramount importance, right?
Yeah,
reporting and all that it will get streamlined over a period of time. But more importantly, like Madhuji said that, she's seeing the videos as if the universe is conspiring. Those are the things you'd love to hear, through this experience. Points and all can wait, okay? We have to do something, right? And that is why points come into, that is secondary. You get into a rhythm and start doing seva. That is the key objective around it. Okay. Start building the sanskars of doing seva, bringing it into a routine and see where it takes you. Because we do satsang, we do devotion also, right? But the seva aspect is something which is hard to bring in your routine. And this is a good platform to start imbibing that as well. That's all. That's fine. Don't worry about that. Settle into a rhythm.
Yeah.
This process.
And I know in the end you will say all the teams won after presentation also. I know about Nitin ji, he'll give winner to all the 4 teams. That's your nature.
Don't worry. We will differentiate people who have put in. Okay, don't worry about that.
No.
And I'm not the judge.
I really liked when you people are doing that Pani Puri seva, how blissful it will be, even like service when we do as a team.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm missing.
Yes, it was very nice experience for sure. I don't know how many Pani Puris both the days, but amazing experience for sure. Great. Okay, now we move to the devotional segment for the day. We have a lot of participants starting with Sandhya today and probably Sandhya only today. If anybody else wants to sing, please raise your hand and turn on your camera. That way we can take you after Sandhya. But go ahead, Sandhya, you wanted to
Shri Ramya ji, can I just confirm if she's raised hand for devotional segment or something else?
Are you sure you can
One point, can I?
in office?
Yeah, Shri Ramya ji, you raised hand again.
Yes, I wanted to make one point, can I?
Yeah, sure.
So this is personally to Samji. It is a spiritual complaint. I wanted to say that Samji joined the group and left our group. But anyways, you're taking up seva and that's very nice. So thank you, Samji.
She cannot be there in 2 groups, na? That's why. Yeah. Awesome.
She raised her thumb, so I think she's happy. Your spiritual complaint is well received. All right, go ahead, Sandhya.
Okay, wait. Yeah, I will.
And please fill out the feedback tracker if you haven't. I think that's the way we can connect as well. And not many people are writing these days. So please do take out a moment if you can. All right, go ahead.
This is the bhajan that I wanted to try and sing today. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. लिखन वालिया तू हो के दयाल लिख दे मेरे दिल विच गोरा दा प्यार लिख दे लिखन वालिया तू हो के दयाल लिख दे मेरे दिल विच गोरा दा प्यार लिख दे सिर उथे लिख दे हाथ गुरादा सिर उथे लिख दे हाथ गुरादा अखां विच गुरादा दीदार लिख दे मेरे दिल विच गुरादा प्यार लिख दे लिखन वालिया तू हो के दयाल लिख दे मेरे दिल विच गोरा दा प्यार लिख दे हत्थां उत्थे लिख दे सेवा गुरां दी हत्थां उत्थे लिख दे सेवा गुरां दी दिल विच दिलदार लिख दे मेरे दिल विच गोरा दा प्यार लिख दे लिखन वालिया तू हो के दयाल लिख दे मेरे दिल विच गोरा दा प्यार लिख दे पैरां उत्थे लिख दे सत्संग जाना पैरां उत्थे लिख दे सत्संग जाना मेरा तन मन गुरा उथों वार लिख दे मेरे दिल विच गोरा दा प्यार लिख दे लिखन वालिया तू हो के दयाल लिख दे मेरे दिल विच गोरा दा प्यार लिख दे एक ना लिखी मेरे गोरा दा विछोरा एक ना लिखी मेरे गोरा दा विछोरा होर चाहे दुखा दा पहाड़ लिख दे मेरे दिल विच गोरा दा प्यार लिख दे लिखन वालिया तू हो के दयाल लिख दे मेरे दिल विच गोरा दा प्यार लिख दे राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे
Beautiful. Yeah, very nice. It's a Punjabi bhajan and a very beautiful one. If you look at the lyrics, very nicely sung. Thank you so much for. I think you've been practicing a lot of bhajans these days. Great. And the linings are so beautiful in this one, right? It says, "Pera utte likh de satsang jana," right? So you need to have it in your enough sanskars for your feet to cooperate to walk to a temple. If you don't have those sanskars, your feet will not cooperate. It will say, no, don't go there. You will almost reach there and still you will not be able to reach. Or something in your mind will tell, don't reach there. Mind will not cooperate, feet will not cooperate, tongue will not cooperate. Even when we say God's name, the tongue, the God's energy actually dances on our tongue to make that happen. Valmiki couldn't do that because he had so much of sins. He couldn't even say Ram Ram properly. And similarly, all these things that happened, getting Guru, his association, like it is saying in Bhajan, right? Heart on your head, basically, hand on the head. All that things that happen only when we have certain sanskars and enough spiritual merit. These are not ordinary things to happen. So coming to satsang, listening to Bhagavad Gita, going to temple, having a spiritual inclination takes a lot of spiritual merit, and we should feel very, very fortunate that we have that inspiration. So beautiful bhajan to encapsulate that, Sandhya. Loved it. Yes, SSPG, you wanted to sing something as well? I see a couple of people you have inspired already. So we'll take two more and then wrap it up today.
Yeah, SSPG, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, it is Telugu, madam. It is only for 2 stanzas.
Okay.
I will not take much time. Means by it, the meaning is, if you pray the God, he will remove all sins and all whatever the worries, sorrows and all. Okay, I will start. Sri Kamini Kamita Kara Sakara Karunya Dhara Navankura Samsara Santapana Nirvapana Papa Nirvapanopaya Nama Prashamsano Bhava 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 He Vasudeva Sadananda Govinda Sevinchu Mavinda Vaidendam Mundimpa Vicharambulemin Pacho Gocharatwambul Luhimpa Maitimo Deva Nipata Seva Dharambul. Enough, sir.
Okay. Thank you, SSPG. Very nice. Radhe Radhe. Thank you so much for that. Yes, Rahul, last but not the least. And then I can sing maybe a couple of lines as well to wrap up the session.
Yes, Rahulji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, just 2 lines on the occasion of Mahashivratri.
Sure.
We had this at our local satsang center yesterday. So, Jai Jai Mahadev Shambhu Kashi Vishwanath Gange. Jai Jai Mahadev Shambhu Kashi Vishwanath Gange. Kashi Vishwanath Gange. Jai Jai Mahadev Shambhu Gopi Prem Daan De Do. Jai Jai Mahadev Shambhu Gopi Prem Daan De Do. Radhe Radhe.
Very nice, beautiful. Thank you, Rahul, and thank you everybody for a wonderful session. One last line I want to say that from one of the beautiful bhajans, Maharaj has said, right, Lakho Mehfil. So it says that सौंप दो इनके हाथों में डोरी, वो कृपालु हैं तंग दिल नहीं है, लाखों महफिल जहां में यूं तो तेरी महफिल सी महफिल नहीं है. All right. So basically, end of the day, we have to simply surrender to God, and He's Kripalu, not miser. The problem happens, we are not able to do that, and that's where we need to get better. And hopefully, these sessions will help us get better. And our satsang, seva, all the things that we add to our routine. Yes, Urvi, you wanted to say something?
Radhe Radhe, Urvi.
Not Urvi said stop.
Radhe Radhe.
Stop. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I was listening to Kagbhushandi and Garam by Swamiji, and I just loved it. So I've written some of my favorite bits here. Can I sing it?
Sure, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. मोरे मन रघुअस बिसवासा, राम के अधिक राम कर दासा, राम सिंधु घन सज्जन धीरा, नंदन तरु हरि संत समीरा, सकर हर हरि भगति सुहाई, सो कीर्तन काहू पाई, असुर कोई कर सत्संगा राम भगति ही दुर्लभ विहंगा। राधे राधे।
Beautiful. It reminded me of that Ramayana, right? It used to go in the same meter. Beautiful. And continue doing the good work, Urvi, inspiring us and also explaining us the meaning of that as well. Okay, if you can bring that as well, that will be even more wonderful. Great. Thank you so much for that. Loved it. With that, we come to the end of our session. Tomorrow, we'll meet again and continue on our, like, I'm looking forward to the presentation and see, and I think Swamiji's retreat is starting as well. Please do sign up for that and take the full benefit from it. And we will probably have a half an hour overlap, but we'll continue with our sessions. Okay. You can always catch up in recording. So thank you again, all of you. Radhe Radhe. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night. Good day.